Yes.
All right. Hello. Welcome to a brand new edition of Love Aaj Kal. 2022 का तीसरा एपिसोड है. We have outdone our own expectations of putting out so many video episodes.
This is the last episode of 2022.
ये है आस्था. जी हाँ. As हम अलविदा कहने वाले हैं 2022 को, we are joined by a fantastic group of people here at an amazing space जो आपको बाद में दिखेगा वीडियो में. So stick around towards the end.
Yeah.
And this is the last episode of 2022. So we thought we'll kind of recap the year.
Yeah, and talk about what's
The
to come in 2023. So we're saying, I mean, it's a larger topic of love, sex, and starting over, which I think we are all at some stages of that, right? Like we're either in love, or we are just in sex, or we are out of love and now starting over,
Or
right?
out of sex.
Or out of sex and starting over, right? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Ankit, what are your thoughts? How would you like to enter 2023, firstly?
I would
If
like
we
to
have-
enter.
Yeah, I enter.
Just that.
This is not.
I'd like to enter 2023.
Yeah.
Fortunately, this is all an adult group, so we can make innuendos and all like that. I'm entering 23 with a lot of, because personally for me in life, it's also coinciding with me turning 40. So I'm entering 2023 with a very, I would say, focused mindset, which is the way I want to spend the rest of my 40s or my decade.
Yeah.
Which is very mindfully. I'm ending the year with a Vipassana course, 7 days in Nagpur. So 2023, 1st of Jan, I will literally be sitting in a Vipassana center, meditating, bringing in the new year. And I timed it so that it could literally, begin my new decade and a new year like that.
Sure.
So मुझे लगता है मेरे लिए पर्सनली अगला साल और अगला दशक माइंडफुलनेस के बारे में है. It's something that we've been talking about as a theme for a long time.
We do.
And given how the entire world's gone to shit, we have to literally build a fortress around ourselves
Yeah.
and our emotions for our own well-being and upkeep. और मुझे लगता है वो जो फोर्ट्रेस है, उसकी जो दीवारें हैं, जो चट्टानें हैं, वो माइंडफुलनेस की हैं. और अगर वैसे करेंगे तो मुझे लगता है my 40s should be okay. There's going to be a lot of curveballs that life will still throw at you. But मुझे लगता है as long as we do this foundational work.
But I think
That's the hope.
that's the theme, right? To get mindfulness in love, sex, and starting
And
over.
relationships.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and
What's your
relationships.
theme? How are you entering 2023?
By working. I'll be
Deva.
working. So I was
That's
talking
your
about.
theme. You're going to be working.
I was talking about this in the last episode as well, that everybody would like to do what Ankit is doing, which is like go for Vipassana, be off Instagram. पर वो real life नहीं है.
What do you mean? It's my real life.
Yeah, but that's it's not sustainable for most of us because we work on the internet. Na? Like you have to be, as a journalist, I have to be on the internet. Otherwise, I know nothing. Like I don't know anything. I don't know what, and somebody's reel might give me an idea. Oh, this person is doing this. Then I find 5 people are doing this, and that's how it becomes a trend or a story. So I feel we have to get mindfulness in the crazy lives that we lead, and that's like I'm thinking like on 31st I will be in office. It's a Saturday. I work for the Sunday paper. Saturday is my busiest day. The only thing I have is it's a 9 o'clock deadline, so I can still go out.
Midnight.
Yeah, have a drink, bring in whatever. But I think we have to start thinking about all this in a very daily life thing. Ki aaj what I can do to make my life better. And if I make my life better, then maybe I'll be better at everything, which is love, sex, or relationships, and all of that, and even like starting over. So I feel a lot of us are starting over, no? You wanna how many of you are in a relationship? I'm doing the Ankit part of it.
Show of hands, how many of you all are in a committed relationship? Okay,
Wow.
majority of them. Wow, good for you all.
How
folks.
many of you are in a sex thing? That one picked up.
One.
But no, it's like just a sex thing.
She has assumed कि relationship is equal to no action.
No, I mean
ऐसे
love
नहीं।
and sex है ना, just a sex thing.
आसनों का करूँगा.
Just a sex. How many of you are starting over? Yeah, you can't pick up for everything, huh, Pratul? He's like all 3 things he picked up his hand. He's like everything.
He's like, depending on which day of the week you ask me, my
Yeah.
answer will change. Nice.
Yeah. The non-linear life.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I feel a lot of people are starting over. I think that's a big theme.
As a year also, I think 23, the hope is after 2 years and somewhat of a reluctant 2022 of the pandemic, the hope is कि it's going to be a memory of, the past.
Yeah.
और 2023 सही मायने में you'll get a blank slate, a blank canvas. जो 2019 end से 2020, 21, 22, life and the world dictated our life, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have a life in our own control. We just had to make sure stay alive, number one job. And then post that, once you've taken care of your physical, mental, psychological well-being, then maybe think of something else, right?
Sure.
We spoke about this in so many episodes during the pandemic कि हम भूल जाते हैं, मेरा favorite part है ये याद दिलाना लोगों को, हम भूल जाते हैं कि हम जानवर हैं. We're animals. And I think 22, 21, 20 were great reminders of going back to the animalistic survival instinct.
Yeah.
Right? Let's first survive.
Yeah.
And in the Maslow's hierarchy of, existential needs, I think love, security becomes pretty high up in the self-actualization space. पहले तो जिंदा रहना है. जान है तो जहान है, right? So I think 2023 psychologically, even people who've been in long-term relationships, we spoke to Dhruvi and Pratik who are here in the audience. We spoke to them about what a toll it took on a newly married couple. Bang, and the pandemic and lockdowns. I don't really know what it was like for them to start a new relationship in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
When nothing is how you would like it to be.
Yeah.
So now I'm guessing they'd like to wipe the slate clean and be like, okay, let's hit reset.
Self-growth is important for anything, be it anything, love and relationships or starting over. I think it's such a nice thing that in 2023 we can all start over. I just made a reel that day that actually you should use December, because December puts that fire in your ass. I need to do something, and that never comes in any of the other months. It doesn't come with your birthday. It doesn't come with any other month other than December, because you're like, shit, the year is ended, or kuch nahi hua, ye nahi kiya, or wo nahi kiya, and all. And then, so I feel the thing is to use that fire and then keep it going the rest of the year.
Wait,
Yeah.
So just to bring us back, mindfulness for me is the action word for 2023. For you, it is working.
Consistency.
In
anything.
For Pratik and Dhruvi, it's growth.
Yeah.
I'd love to have the mic go around, and especially single people in the room, if you all don't mind sharing. No pressure, but put your hands up. Maybe I know, Swati, you're looking at me and trying to dodge that I'll pick on you. Swati and I are ex-colleagues. We worked together for years. But would love to hear from you how you all are getting into the new year, looking at it, approaching it. Is it like, holy shit, same old wine, new bottle? Or is it like, yeah, let's do this, baby?
I hate you. Right. So, I don't know. I haven't really thought about the new year at all.
Think about it now. Now is the time.
I think work has been my first priority, because men come and go. They break your hearts. But work doesn't. So that has stayed constant. Yeah, so I think that's still my goal for the next year. Work.
To continue focusing on work, because men are going to come and go.
Because something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like work. Yeah, I mean, work is, I feel, people say you're not your work. You're not what you do. I feel you do what you do because you are who you are, right?
I'm sure
So I
if
feel
you
it's
ask
a part
an
of
LIC
it.
insurance agent, वो इतना passion के साथ नहीं बोलेगा. I am my work.
But क्या पता? Some people are very good at communication, and those are the ones who become this LIC.
Insurance agents.
हाँ, because they will call you 15 times, or they become PR people. But they'll call you 15 times.
PR people.
Journalists know that. She will call me even though I will cut the call again and again. And then I'm like, are you dying? I've picked up the phone and said, are you okay? Like, you've called me 5 times when I've cut the call. She said, have you checked the email I sent you a press release? I'm like, you could have texted me this.
I'm calling you to send you. I've sent you a message that I've sent you.
But she's called me so many times that I actually have picked up to check if she's okay. Because that's like your mom calling you 8 times,
Swati, contentious question, or to anybody else. I know because I have done that for a long time in my life. Using work as a means to
avoid.
not do the work on another aspect of life. It's escapism 101. I have indulged in it for years. I have indulged in it so as to not do the difficult work on my own self, to do my healing, to reflect on my flaws, on what I need to fix and correct. At what point does one reconcile with that, you know? And it's okay, we don't have to talk about that publicly, but it's a question to anybody, right? We are a generation obsessed with our work because it provides such a beautiful refuge, escape from dealing with real life issues otherwise.
But I do feel that.
I'm not saying, Swati, you do that. I'm just saying, like, as
But
a team.
I do feel. This is why I insisted that we do Love Aaj Kal with a boy and a girl, because men and women think very differently. Women can be swamped
Really?
at work and still be thinking about the person they are with, and still be calling them and still be texting them.
Yeah,
Nothing takes away from, you will still pick up the phone and message the person even if you're in a meeting like this.
We
on
men
the side.
cannot multitask
Because
like that. No.
women are very different. So being busy at
multitasking.
work, I feel sometimes doesn't take away from anything in a woman's life. Do you know? Please do. And then after that, Dhruvi.
So when we talk about work, right, and the relationship we have with work, so for me, I feel that starting over should also happen with work, because that's how you redefine yourself. We have this definition about ourselves there, okay, I'm a journalist and I do certain kind of stories, for example. But why am I not trying other things? It's because I've put that boundary around me, right? So 23 for me is to break that boundary. If I change, then I will attract new people into my life.
Totally.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm here today as well. I don't know most in the room, but I'm here because I usually don't go to such events, and if I don't break that monotony, I'm not going to grow. And if I don't grow, I won't get introduced to different people, right?
Round of applause
totally,
for Forum,
totally.
yes.
Yes, totally.
Kudos. Amazing, amazing. Anybody else? Anybody on the spectrum of singlehood?
You say what
I have a lot of thoughts on this, but so I used to be working in the media. And when I met Pratik in one of our first dates, okay, which he lulled me into, we spoke about meditation. We had known each other 5 days, I think, 5 or 7 days, something like that. We spoke about meditation, and I used to go to a tarot reader, but something happened. I gave him a meditation stone, and he said, I have something for you. And he gave me the tarot card, which is the 8 of Pentacles. In a way, he defined our future, because 2019, I started reading tarot for others, and the 8 of Pentacles is kind of the theme of our relationship, because we work so hard and we wait for the rewards and all of that. But he initiated me into work that I didn't even know I was going to do. And I have such an encouraging partner, and a lot of us do define ourselves by our work. Like, what do you do, right? Like the doing part of it. But it has, in a way, helped our relationship, and the relationship guided me to work. So I don't think you can separate the two.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a relationship in your life and you work, all of us do that, right? It doesn't need to be a committed relationship.
I think
it doesn't.
that's the goal zone, what you're talking about. Everybody's looking and saying, shut up, I'm nowhere close to that. Don't you dare say a word more over there. All of us would love to be in that goal zone, and that's great. Thank you for sharing.
I think for me it would be to fail more, because
To fail more.
yeah, because then for me that is trying out things. The thing
Lovely.
with me is I have, like, people think, and my boss definitely thinks I have a perfectionist attitude towards things, which makes me not try things out as much as I should. And even with relationships, I've gotten recently, like, friends getting married, okay, and 25 and everything, and I'm just like, bro, why are y'all freaking getting
Many.
husbands? Yeah. So
I got married at 24.
Sure.
Yeah,
but
and
you were
I
like another generation.
Oh, but I didn't get married because my parents told me to get married.
Sure.
No,
They
you
also
met
made
someone.
choices, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, you would choose to get married. Like, I feel like I'm catching, like, I don't feel my age, so I'm just like, how are y'all getting married? But a friend of mine also told that that's not, like, would you want to marry that guy, or would you want to have that relationship? So instead of thinking about the ideal for everyone, and the ideal for me, ki first date is going to be like, okay, this is the guy and this is going to be it, and we are on the same level of ambition and smart and intelligent and curious and checklist of things. go out on bad dates. I've gone on catfish dates. I've gotten great stories out of them. I can write things about just like the horror that is out there, the sweetness that is out there, that's crap that's out there, and discover different versions of me. But yeah, to go on 10,000 different bad dates, have all, not 10,000, like whatever is possible, guys. But yeah, I'm going for one after this, so let's see how that turns out.
Yay!
That goes well.
That's gonna be fun. So fail more, try things out more.
No, but I think
Therapy.
That's amazing.
Lot
Thank you
of-
for sharing.
lot
And
of
all the
people-
best for your date.
A lot of people come to me and say, I have not found love. I said, but are you putting yourself out there? But you're not doing that. So you don't want to get hurt. It's the same thing. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to be like, Are, I have to start over again. Are, I have to have that conversation about what's your favorite color again. I can't do it. But if you're not going to do it, and I believe in all this, the universe and things like that. And one of the things is that if the universe doesn't know you're looking, then how is it going to give you what you want? If you're going to sit in your house and maybe you have male friends who take care of all that emotion for you, or even like, you're too attached to I feel it's even like you're too attached to your parents and all, and you're not getting out of your comfort zone, you're never going to find anyone. Because nobody is like, oh, I don't want to, I'm not on the apps because it's too much for me. Okay, you're not on the apps, ask your friends
Ek
to
to the
set you up.
snobbery around being on the apps or not being on the Like, what's up with
Matlab,
that?
yeah.
You know, yaar.
Exactly. I
I'll
mean, my
just
only
go
problem with the app is that eventually you get judged by how you look. And that's my
We
only,
made an episode
yeah,
about
that's
that.
my only problem with the app. But I think a lot of people talk on the app also. No, matlab, they met on an app, Yeah, so
Kaun sa app? Hinge.
Bumble.
You have a Hinge success story.
Amit
Bumble
and
success
Moisa
story.
are Bumble.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So I feel it's not.
And we recommended it to them, and they were on island.
What?
Wow.
What?
So that's amazing. But I feel like you have to really put yourself out there. So I think what she's saying, ki theek hai, one won't work out, second won't work out, third won't
But
work
keep
out.
trying.
But keep trying.
Keep trying. Amazing. Where's the mic? Anybody else who's on the
Single spectrum.
what? Yeah,
Start.
sure. You could tell us, Pratul.
The question.
2023. What energy are you going into the
Because
new
you're
year
in all
with?
three spectrums, na?
Yes, I can explain myself about that.
How are you looking at relationships, etc.?
Cool. Long story short, I have been in a committed, open relationship for the last 4 years, which a lot of people don't seem to get that right away. That what is a non-monogamous relationship, and how do you still keep the love intact?
That's also
and-
goal zone, I think. To be in that kind
I
of
mean, to
relationship like
to
hers.
whoever that applies or
Yeah.
appeals.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
Exactly. No, but I feel you have to be a certain mindset to
Sure.
be in that kind of situation.
Thank you. However, as great as that relationship has been, it is coming to an end, sadly. And for a lot of different reasons, it's because I guess, we're going towards different, stages of our lives where we're not going to be physically together. And long distance relationships are somewhat a sham to me, at least personally. Sorry if any one of you are in a long distance relationship. And that's where the whole starting over process is now just starting to kick in, where, I have to figure out who I am without this relationship, what my personality is now going to be, to socialize all over again, go out on dates, be vulnerable, share my life story with somebody entirely all over again. So, I guess I'm going into 2023 with all of that baggage a little bit, but then I guess I'm better off with it, right? Because I've been in enough relationships to know that I've learned my lessons and I know what I have to take into the next one and what I have to leave behind. It's a lot of, I guess, starting over. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, but I think what he said, one thing is again something that Ankit and I always talk about is what you leave behind and how you leave people behind. I feel that's the worst thing we all do. We leave people in a very bad shape. So wo aage, then they take that ahead and you take that ahead and then you become, it's like you're adding.
You have this lovely line which you have kept on saying, and I love quoting it from Love Aaj Kal. It's funny, we quote each other. It's ridiculous. Very self-indulgent, but hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and what do you always say? It's like love is like a campsite.
Yeah,
na?
I believe in the camper's doctrine, which is always leave a campsite better than you found it. Applies to human beings and relationships. Always leave. It takes a shit ton of work, man. I have fucked up so many times when it comes to this. But now, as I touch 40, I'm like, okay, where and who all do I go make amends with? It's never sufficient. But at least the starting point where I've fucked up innumerable times. and I can and I should and I want to do better is the starting point of self-awareness, right? And then from there, every decision from there on is slightly better than the previous one, which was filled with ignorance and oblivion, right?
Yeah. I don't even think that you need to go back and apologize.
Yeah,
I feel
not
everybody's
always
done
the
it,
best.
and the person has. I mean, it's not like Hasina मान जाएगी. What was that movie? बचना है हसीनो. Ranbir
Yeah,
Kapoor
Bollywood
goes.
and UN examples now.
Ha. I give those examples. हाँ, बचना है हसीनो. But I feel like it's very like things like we don't answer on text, or we break up on a text, or we ghost, and things like that can be avoided.
Guilty.
You just be like honest.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, I would rather that a person is a fuckboy than a guy who pretended to be nice and then later just stopped picking up my call. Like, just be the fuckboy. Yeah, just say, I'm in it for this shit. That's it. And yeah, but I don't know. I think people don't want to accept that they are a fuckboy. Unko nahi karne ka hai. It's like they know that they don't want to talk to this person later, but they will pretend to actually like the person. And then I have heard so many girls say, but like one girl said this guy wanted to like cuddle with her, and she was like, I had a friend and she was like, amazing, and 3 days, she was like, this is the guy, he came to my house, he stayed till morning, blah, blah. Had the most innovative excuse. He came up to her and said, so I'm in therapy. So she said, okay, great. And he said, so my psychiatrist has told me that I should not be in a relationship right now.
Yeah, psychiatrists do say that. Right?
हाँ, but I was like, पहले क्या हुआ था?
पहले
he told
psychiatrist ने नहीं
her,
बोला?
I think he said I love you and all also, and then
अरे
he said
देवा.
now she has told me कि you should just tell her now that you don't want to be in a relationship.
मम्मी मान नहीं रही है।
Totally. And then 4 days later he was on the app again.
No, so this, I have a different perspective on this. A lot of who we bring to a relationship, anywhere, work relationship, personal romantic relationship, why is it so bloody difficult? Because at 40, I now realize that all I need to first do is unpeel the layers of social conditioning that have made me think the way I think. We think we are of independent thought. Bullshit. Not a single thing we think is independent and free. We are only acting out of the layers of social conditioning that we've consumed, that we've just silently, ignorantly co-opted and made them our own.
Sure.
Right? When a person like Pratul says, I'm in an open, non-monogamous relationship, how many of us are judging him in a heart of hearts and saying, what kind of bullshit
There's no
is
such
that?
thing. There's
What
no
kind of
such
bullshit
thing.
is that? How many of us have that instinctive reaction versus somebody says, well, good for you, man, you found something that you love.
Yeah.
And
But
depending
that's-
on what our reaction was,
Yeah.
that's your instant eureka moment that says, holy shit, is this my social conditioning self acting out, or is this me and my independent true thought? And that's when you intervene and you're like, okay, let's sit with this thought. Whatever your method is, you write journal, you talk to a friend about it, but this thought, just ruminate in it, dwell over it.
I think it also happens with age. I think it's happening with you and me because we've
Because
turned a
we're at
certain
that-
age.
yeah.
Like every time I judge someone later, I'm like, maybe I should have not. Like,
Yeah.
why am I judging this person?
And we also do
I mean,
that
it's
to
okay.
each other, right?
Yeah.
Like we say, Asa, maybe, and
yeah.
you're like, Ankit,
But eventually you're like, you go back and you think, I think it's also being, when you're in journalism and things like that, your mind is more open to any possibility.
Yeah.
Kuch bhi ho sakta hai and you'll be fine. Somebody will die, somebody will get married to an alien, you'll
Yeah.
still be fine. You'll just be like, oh, that's the world today,
Yeah,
right?
no, the reason I brought up the social conditioning bit is because your friend, who unfortunately that guy came and he hooked up and did whatever. India does not have a dating culture, I'm sorry. We do not understand what the fuck dating means.
Yeah.
Because 20 साल की उम्र तक मम्मी पापा क्या बोलते हैं? बात मत करो एक दूसरे से. दूसरे जेंडर से बात ही मत करो. और जैसे 21वीं सालगिरह हो जाती है, शादी करो, बच्चे पैदा करो. Excuse me, नल है क्या कि खोला पानी निकल गया, बंद कर दिया, emotions खत्म. So we don't have a culture of dating. So we have to create a space for ourselves to explore our thoughts and everything.
And here I have to say that we are still sitting like this in Bombay and talking like that. We got a lot of letters when we were doing Love Aaj Kal consistently from small towns where they, like, boys and girls don't talk to each other. So we have got letters saying, how do I initiate a conversation in college without looking like I am a lech or, those things.
You know what our most heard episode on Spotify is? Love Aaj Kal podcast has been most heard episode over 2 years and over 150 episodes. Because we just got a Spotify Wrapped, right? So we understood what's our most heard episode. And this will tell you about the state of the country. Not that we are the ultimate zeitgeist on it. Can boys and girls be friends?
Yeah. Just
Most
friends.
heard
Just
episode.
friends, yeah.
Can you believe where we are? EQ-wise, IQ-wise as a country?
I mean, Ankit and I get that a lot.
और हम लोग क्या बात कर रहे हैं?
We were
Can
just,
a boy and girl just be friends?
people have searched for Ankit Vengurlekar's wife and I pop up. So then people will be like, are you in a
Not this
relationship?
wife, Shivangi.
Yeah, you have to be in a relationship to be
No, so
like this.
any guy
Yeah.
who is a थोड़ा सा जिसको exposure है, public figure type है, any guy, you type their name and among the Google auto recommend search results is Ankit Vengurlekar wife.
Aastha Atre husband.
Because
Yeah.
हमारी वही है ना, मानसिकता तो वही है. So बहुत extra काम हमें करना पड़ेगा. If you're going into 2023 then, we are not just fighting against our circumstances, immediate life, job, partner है नहीं है, app है नहीं है. We are fighting against a baggage of this social conditioning, right?
Yeah, I think you have to be open to all kinds of possibilities and say yes to everything and say, I will put myself out there, I will do things that I don't do, and I will not judge people who don't do things that I don't do. That's right? Yeah, so I think it's going into 2023 would be that, right?
With
And
a more
that's how,
open mind.
with the more open minds.
That's
We've like,
the reason for us, the entering to 2023 coincidentally, that is one of the reasons, like, like just keep your mind open to possibilities.
Yeah.
That's why we, got the hook word for us, growth.
Lovely.
Like even if we fight, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
is it adding to the growth
Sure.
or taking us, in a downward spiral?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So then, Ankit, jaise you said mindfulness. So I just, yesterday I started, this whole month, like you're going for Vipassana, I call it the month of heart for me. So I am on the way. I obviously have, I've been doing mindfulness since a long time, but somewhere I got stuck in everything. So again, obviously, when your mind is not satisfied, your heart is not satisfied, you tend to dig more. And when I digged more, I thought, okay, let me start with the heartfulness. I don't know how it will happen, where it will happen. For me, I just started with a heart meditation. Where, so generally when we do meditate, this is where we focus.
yeah.
The third eye is the general point of focus. I thought, okay, let me just focus here and see what comes up. Let me see how it will add to our relationship and, how it will add to me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So you have to like do different things. But I mean, we always say this, that I think it's not just about, it is about self-growth. I think everything. I've been married for 17 years. I don't think about my marriage much because there are no problems to think of. So I don't like, it's not like a thing that I'm thinking about. But what I feel is that if you work on yourself, then you're a happier person. And then you'll make people around you happy. You will be good to people who you date. You will be good to people who you work with. You'll be good to people, your friends. Like Dhruvi was saying, I think about how friendships have changed, right? Like you had friends in your life 4 years ago, which you don't have. And I've totally realized that. Like I feel at 40, this year was more about me worrying about my friendships more than worrying about a relationship. Because I was like, I do so much. Do you do this much? Are you going to come for my event if I call you? Like then you'll be like, but I stay in Kolaba. That's not friendship, no? Then I'm like, oh. But then I realized, bhai chhod do. जो करता है उसको करने दो. They do it in their own time. I've realized people are the pandemic, I think now little work comes, everybody gets overwhelmed. If you have to go out, you are overwhelmed. I feel for journalists, it's still because we were out and about and we didn't care. Like there were photojournalists in midday, they were wearing that PPE suit and going and taking photos because we can't be, you have to be fearless. No, if we had to meet someone, you have to go and meet someone. So I feel fearlessness is a part of being who I am. So when people say there's 2 hours traffic, I still will sit in it. I mean, like, okay, I'll come to Colaba for your event because I'll take a train. Nobody wants to take a train also. Bhai, take a train, it'll take 30 minutes.
Because Instagram पे नहीं डाल पाएंगे ना.
अरे train, once I put a train photo, he's like, आप train में जाती है?
ट्रेन से जाते हो.
आप तो celebrity है. मैं नहीं हूँ celebrity और मैं train में ही जाती हूँ क्योंकि भाई I can't do the traffic. But I feel.
Then you can upload.
Oh God, yeah.
But friendships, I feel that I have really this year realized that you have to start over in your friendships also. You have to let them be who they are. You have to let them do what they do. If they don't do it, okay. If they do it, be happy when they do it. And if somebody is really annoying you, then you stop being friends. I mean, it's okay. You all evolve. I feel you'll meet 5 years down the line and you'll be fine with each other. So you just have to. Friendships have been like I've really. I still get irritated, but I tell myself in the night after 2 hours, I'm like, chalo, leave it. Oh, you can't come? No stress. I message no stress. There's that thing, no, when you're like, you type no stress when you're stressing the most. I'm like, no stress. No stress.
But Aastha, something you said about the small town and, you know, the differences. So, like, that's us, right? Because Pratik is originally from Bhopal. And the whole Bhopal, Bombay, being born and raised in Bombay, leaving Bhopal to come to Bombay. Pratik is also a native Hindi speaker and I'm a native English speaker. Like for the first year of our relationship, I used to tell him we should have a Instagram handle like English Hindi. Like he used to speak in Hindi and I would respond in English and that was our conversation for a year. But I feel, you know, this...
Sachin?
And I've had a friend who broke up with someone because
Netflix show in the making.
Hindi, English. अभी बाद में.
But
royalty का पहला check.
सबका तुम royalty का पहला check ले लो और वो ही बस.
Side hustle.
That's your side hustle. हाँ.
Have to practice for that.
You know that mentality, like, of course, you know my dating stories, but like living in Bombay and meeting fuckboys and guys who pretend to like you and then don't want to commit to you after going out with you for a year, but we were never in a relationship. We were getting to know each other. All of that jazz, right? You know, when I met Pratik, he wanted to marry every girl he met. Like it was the opposite problem.
Sulma Bhopali, ये क्या है? No, Pratik wants to set the record straight. It's okay.
It was like मुझे बचपन से शादी करने का बड़ा शौक.
Ah, wow.
like
किसी
that,
movie का dialogue है ना?
जब we met.
अच्छा, okay.
जब we met.
My Bollywood knowledge.
I thought
Kareena
कुछ
Kapoor.
होता है कि मुझे dance
No, but जब भी मैं she says ना मुझे तो बचपन से बड़ा शौक था, by God. So when I met Pratik, it was the opposite thing. Like I was scared of commitment, and he was like, at one point.
But I think that's what, you were scared of commitment because people were running away from you when you wanted to commit.
Yeah.
So now when actually somebody wants to commit to you, you're like,
yeah, and
can I trust this person?
And literally, when our relationship was literally on the rocks because of the whole, and then this whole bomb, 2 states was happening. Like families are like, how will you make it together and all of that. He literally told me, you don't want to marry me, it's fine. I will marry you and I will make sure it happens. So that level of commitment.
So I think we should end the podcast here because we'll keep talking. We'll keep talking.
I think we can stop recording the video, but we'd love to talk. I really want to say this disclaimer. ये शुरुआत में हम बोलते हैं हर episode के, but please, whatever we are saying, take it with a truck of salt, not even a pinch of salt.
We are not therapists.
Yeah, please, because fortunately or unfortunately, hundreds and thousands of people have written to us with very deeply personal issues. And our one-line response to that is, please see a trained professional, yaar.
Yeah.
Your first response cannot be chunauti mein ki Aastha aur Ankit ko message kare. No, please see a trained professional. So not that, I'm sure you all are much smarter than the people sending us messages.
No, those are
but
mostly
whatever we are saying, take it with a truck
young
of
people
salt.
who say, Bhaiya, Didi, please solve our issue. And that's when I tell them, do you have a cousin you can go and talk to? In the house, talk to your mom, talk to your dad. At least tell someone because they are suicidal and all, So I've actually checked up on people, are you okay? Gone back and found the message and stuff. But I think the theme for 2023 is just a lot of self-growth, getting out of your comfort zone. What was it? Mindfulness. And consistency on everything. I think I really feel consistency. People meet Ankit and me also and say, "Acha, you've done so much." We've been doing it for 20 years. It's just showing now, thoda, And people, I feel younger people have such you can save those 20 years and just be consistent now. Na? Matlab, we have reached here at 40. Sometimes I feel like, are we too old now? But consistency. You do, no? Some things. Yeah, but anyway, we will end.
Okay, yeah. So
this.
in the interest of time,
Yes,
we'll
please.
take some concluding thoughts from you guys over the topic and whatever we've discussed today, and then we'll open the floor for questions. So if you have any fun, burning questions for them to answer,
And people who haven't spoken already.
yes. So we'll pass the mark around.
Nishant, Sachin, Meghna, who came late, Lata, who came late.
No, but thank you for coming anyway. Okay,
Cool. So while you guys think of your questions, concluding thoughts. from
concluding
both of you.
thoughts for the camera.
Concluding thoughts are
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And as I said, unlike Ankit's plan of how he wants to end this year, if you are like me at office and working till New Year's, find space for yourself every day, which is could be 40 minutes in the gym or going for a walk, or just I come back home and I mean, I would not recommend if you're not a drinker, but I have a glass of wine and I watch Supernatural, which is my favorite show, and I just zone out for half an hour. And it
Still
does.
watching
I'm
Supernatural.
rewatching Supernatural. But it calms me down. Whatever calms you down, what works for you, right? Like for some people, friends and people are like, "Arey, you've seen it 20 times, so what the
Yeah.
F?
Yeah.
I've seen it 20 times, so it makes me feel better." So I feel just do things that you can do daily and do them consistently, so you will feel better. The week I work out 5 times a week, I do feel better at the end of the week.
Simple
I feel
science.
better physically, I feel better emotionally, I'm more equipped to handle stuff. Even my PMS doesn't happen if I actually work out consistently. That week, this time I had my PMS and I was like, I didn't feel it. I felt it 20% of what I usually do because I have been working out consistently. So I feel it shows up and you're just more equipped to make better decisions and not react and actually wait and then do what you would do with a sane mind. So just be consistent in your mindfulness every day.
My closing thought would be something I'm telling myself, and I'm just saying that out loud, which is be kinder. Be kinder to yourself. Be kinder to anybody and everybody, whether you're meeting them for the first date, whether you've been with them for years, or any stage that you're at in life. Just be kinder, because life and world and circumstances are only getting tougher. So we have to generate and produce the love that we want for ourselves, and that starts at 40. The definition of love is very different for me.
Yeah.
It's not butterflies in your fingers, it's not sizzling chemistry. Uske liye jaake sizzler kha ke aayega main. But for me, love is equal to kindness at this age. And that definition for you changes at every age, every stage. First, dig deep and understand, find out what your own definition is, and then go and own it and work for it. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Any questions?